Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I just finished up filming one ranty video, so I'm gonna go straight into another, or queerly into another. I'm filming another anti-haul of things I actually want to buy. Now, if you don't know anything about anti-hauls, they were created by Kimberly Clark, who's a beautiful anti-capitalist drag queen of beauty YouTube who has since moved on to bigger and better endeavors on like Broadway. So she's doing quite well, but I wanted to do basically an anti-haul of things that I actually want to buy because I've been doing these kind of this year as a part of my low buy year, of my beauty budget year, because there are lots of things that I want to buy, but I also do have an extensive-ish beauty collection already. I can probably like actually avoid the majority of the things that I actually want. So I have everything written down in my Erin Condren life planner here. I think that's enough of an introduction for an anti-haul because I'm sure that if you've existed on this here internet long enough, you know what an anti-haul is. Anyway, let's just get started. So I'm going to begin with the palettes that I am interested in, and I need to talk myself out of. The first one is something that I played with a dupe-ish for on my one and only live stream that I've done on this channel, and that is the Urban Decay Wired palette. Now, I think that this is really exciting. It is a great release from Urban Decay because I think that the greatest invention of Urban Decay is not any of their naked stuff, no. It is their electric palette. Now, that one was the first, like, colorful high-end palette that I had ever bought when I was in college. I was like 19 when I got it, and it is still one of my, like, most cherished palettes in the entire world. I think it's so beautiful, and it's so fun, and the shade Chaos is my absolute favorite shade of blue. Even though it is patchy as all hell and really difficult to work with, I still think that it's beautiful and it flatters my eyes very, very well. The Urban Decay Wired palette is basically the exact same thing, and I want it desperately. I think it is so, so beautiful. I love this little rainbow palette and the fact that they've like switched some of the shades up ever so slightly. Ooh, that makes me want to buy it. Although I really desperately know that I shouldn't, because the majority of the shades, even though they've kind of renamed some of the shades, they're all basically very, very similar. The other thing that I need to keep in mind in order to make sure that I don't buy it is all of the mixed reviews that it's gotten. Now, I have a few friends who really do love this palette, but I've also seen that Temptalia gave it like the worst review ever. If it's a matter of personal preference or if it's a matter of inconsistency in palette quality, either way, I don't think that's necessarily something that I should risk when I have set myself to have like a limited number of dollars per month that I can spend on makeup. I don't want to spend it on something with risky quality as to whether or not I'm going to like it. So I think between that and the fact that I have a lot of colorful eyeshadows in general that I can definitely use to dupe some of the newer shades, I can avoid buying this. Next is something that I have only seen a teaser for, and I can't help but be interested in it. Menagerie Cosmetics is going to be releasing a pastel palette. Hello, Editing Alex here, many days after I filmed the original video, and since then they have shown the inside of the pastel pup palette, and it's like a pastel rainbow, and I kind of don't like it that much anymore. If it was just at like the purples and blues and greens, then I would have been really still intrigued by it, but since it doesn't look like that, I don't even need to talk myself out of it. So I hope other people enjoy it, but it really isn't for me. The next palette that I really want, and I have no reason for wanting anything like this because it matches nothing in my collection. I think this is like one of those things where the reason I don't own it is because I wouldn't use it. And that is the Visiart Paris Edit palette. I don't know what it is about this palette, but when I look at it, it makes my heart go like, ah! No, Alex, what are you thinking? The cool tone neutrals are very, very pretty, but when in my entire life Do I wear cool tone neutrals? The answer is never. Like, I love my Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette, but it does sit there quite often, not doing a damn thing. And it is so pretty, and I love visiart shadow quality, and I think the fact that it's visiart, and I have a couple of visiart palettes that I love very, very much, definitely kind of draw me in specifically on this. Like, that adds to my wanting of it, of like, oh, maybe I'll use cool neutrals if it comes from visiart. You know, if it's visiart quality, then I'll definitely use it. But with visiart quality comes the visiart price. And no, the fact that it's one of their like little edit palettes, which I have the dark edit palette, is one of my favorites of all time, but that thing is tiny. The reason I like the dark edit palette is because it's tiny, but it has all the colors that I like and I use it a lot. And I don't need something that is tiny in colors that, as much as I like to look at them, I'm not going to use them. I believe it was Abby Williamson who pointed out that it kind of looks like a Too Faced palette. And she's not wrong, because now that she's said that, I can't unsee that. And I have never bought a palette like that from Too Faced. I never wish to buy a palette like that from Too Faced, so why would I want to buy that same palette in like a smaller container for a much higher price point because it's from Visiart? If I like those colors, I can look at those colors. I can pull up the Visiart Instagram page and be like, wow, those colors exist. Isn't that nice? I do not have to own that thing in my collection. I do not have to spend $40 on that thing in order to admire the colors. So no, as much as my heart says yes, my wallet and my common sense say no. And then the last thing, the last palette, is also getting me on the whole price point thing. I never thought I would say this, but I really want something from Natasha Jonah. Now, I've always referred to her as Natasha Jonah. No, we ain't spending that amount of money on makeup. Then she released her cute little Valentine's Day love collection. And she was beautiful. But I don't need that. And I wanted both the eyeshadow palette and the face palette. The face palette, you know, that had both the cream and powder blushes. Oh, and they're in colors that would look absolutely god-awful on me because they lean so incredibly pink that I'm not sure if my face would be particularly flattered by that, but that would be a $55 face palette. That would be a bad investment, and I can recognize that because even though they're very good quality, there are colors that like would objectively look bad. So I can put that to the side. However, that eyeshadow palette though, reds and pinks and purples are very much up my eyeshadow alley. Now, you'll note that I'm a huge fan of the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina palette because of its reds and pinks and purples. Those are kind of what I would consider to be my neutrals in my collection. I don't wear a lot of brown eyeshadow. Surprise, surprise, you've probably watched a video of mine before, you know this. But when I look at that Natasha Jonah love palette, I think it is beautiful and all of the colors draw me in. And then I think, wow, it's 70 bucks. And I think that's $70 that I can't spend on makeup that I would want even more than that. Makeup from indie brands that I would want to support, makeup that I could get single shadows instead, that I could create my own color story without all of the filler neutrals that I would be getting from the Love palette. And I could go for brands that have a lot more consistency, because that's the thing with Natasha Jonah, is that I think she makes very, very beautiful color stories, but I have heard mixed things about the consistency of her products. Now, I'm not sure if that necessarily applies to her larger palettes, but I've definitely heard that about her mini palettes, and I don't need that. I don't need to spend $70 on something that would be so incredibly inconsistent and take that money away from something that I know would be better quality and I would probably use as much. And also, speaking of red and pink purple tones, I own the Jackie Aina palette. I also am looking over at my makeup collection on my desk right now. I have the ColourPop X's and O's palette. I have my Menagerie Violet Ink palette for, you know, the little purple shades. Urban Decay Naked 3 if I want like some rose goldy pinks. I don't need the Natasha Jonah Love palette. As much as it pains me and as much as I would love to own something like that luxe and fancy, I don't need fancy things in order for me to put red, pink, purple eyeshadow on my face. And that's that. Okay, I was going to talk about two things, but I think I really just want to end this off on one thing, because everything that I want from this all falls into the same category, and that's cream blush. You might have seen this in my last few videos, but I've been using a lot of cream blush that I have been gushing over recently. So on my cheeks right now I have Work from Milk Makeup. I have this lovely nude flush cheek kiss from Milani. I have this 25-8 blush sticks from ColourPop. Cream blush has been such a delightful discovery because I do prefer a more natural flush to my face as opposed to something very like out there. I think it looks lovely on other people. I worry about how it looks on myself. And it seems like every brand is coming out with some cream blushes. So one that I'm interested in is the CoverGirl cream blush. However, that one is getting mixed reviews, so I am holding off on that. However, that one is a drugstore price, so it wouldn't be that huge of an investment if it's up. There's one when I looked up, basically I spent a day on Ulta Beauty looking up cream blushes to see what I could potentially get. There were some really cute ones from Lime Crime, and I've never bought anything from Lime Crime, and I worry that I would be a hypocrite SJW if I were to buy this, because on one hand, Lime Crime has stayed out of a lot of controversies over the last few years. However, Doe Deer is still getting money from Lime Crime, and I do not want to give that woman a single dollar for my collection, but damn, when I look at those cream blushes, my heart does a little like singy song. There's so many different colors. There are some nice nudes and pinks which are a bit more up my alley, but then I see that they're also, I think they have a yellow one, like a bright red, a purple, and I wonder that if I maneuver a cream blush in one of those terrifying colors, then maybe I would like that more than if I were to try it in more of a bold powder blush style. I think I just need to hold to my little social justice warrior-ness and not buy from Lime Crime, but there's so many colors of that I desperately want that I do kind of want to change my entire moral stance so I can buy a cream blush. And lastly, on April 17th, Fenty Beauty is coming out with cream blushes. Now, I've surprisingly never owned anything from Fenty Beauty. I've always looked at everything and I think it's gorgeous and I think it is a very, very beautiful brand. I've always felt like they're too cool for me though. So I have never owned anything from Fenty. I also keep on moving over throughout this entire video. But I've never owned anything from Fenty Beauty because I always feel like they're a little bit more expensive than I would want to normally pay, although that's not entirely true all the time. 5 days before my birthday, Fenty is coming out with cream blushes, and I've been eyeing those every single time that I go on Instagram. And they're so lovely, and they kind of have that same variety of shades that Lime Crime does, and I would feel a lot more comfortable buying from Fenty than I would do Lime Crime. This is one that I might anti-haul and still end up buying anyway, but I'm going to try and talk myself out of it. Here I go. The colors that I'm drawn to, I basically already have as blushes in my collection. While I'm one to often go out of my comfort zone in terms of eyeshadow and lipstick, blush I generally kind of stay very safe. I kind of have the shades that I would want from that collection already in my collection, so I don't need that, especially since a lot of the blushes that I have are significantly more affordable than the ones from Fenty. If I did want to get out of my comfort zone, I worry that whatever blush that I purchase I would end up not using because I'm so scared of it, or because, you know, maybe the reason that I don't have that color in my collection is because it wouldn't look good on me. That is my reasoning that I shouldn't buy the Fenty cream blushes. I'll check back in like a little over a month and we'll see if I can actually hold to that. Anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what you are talking yourself out of buying right now. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see y'all in my next one. I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Bye!